Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Now, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again here on your community station, WYAD 94.1 FM, and those joining us online around the world, thanks to WYADonline.com. I'm excited to welcome back to our program today Marnita Coleman. She's someone who I've had an opportunity to know now for a few years. We've been able to talk to each other as friends, but also to have some of her clients come on Conversations Live as guests as well. Marnita is gearing up for her brand new show that's coming right here to WYAD here in Yazoo City. We're going to talk to her not only about the show, but also the topic that she's going to be discussing, and also let you all know how you can stay connected with her. The show is actually premiering on Wednesday, January the 10th, and will be airing every Wednesday right here at 6 p.m. Central. That's 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll remind you of that a little bit later. But Marnita, hello to you, and welcome back to the program.
Good morning. Thanks so much.
Hey, excited to speak with you again, Marnita. As I mentioned, I'm used to talking with you normally about other guests that you are bringing to either Conversations Live or other platforms. I know some of those guests have actually now appeared here in person here in the Yazoo City area. What does it feel like for you now to be bringing your own radio show to the people of Mississippi?
It's a little awkward. Because it's a lot easier promoting other people than it is promoting yourself. And so it's strangely enough, I think I'm pretty decent at getting someone else out there, but it's been a little uncomfortable trying to promote something that I'm involved in.
Yeah, we're going to get back to that.
I'm really
for
happy.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, Marnita. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, but I'm really happy that we're coming to WYAD, and I'm looking forward to talking to Yazoo City.
Yeah, we're going to talk definitely more about the program. I want to talk about how you got into marketing and promoting in the first place, because as you said, sometimes, it is definitely a gift to be able to help spotlight other people's gifts. When did you first realize that was something that you were interested in and wanted to do?
Oh, God. Well, you know what? I've been in marketing and promoting for more than 10 years now. And we started out in the music industry, and I've also worked for major cosmetic companies and that kind of thing. And I think it's just a natural bend that I have. I love talking, and one of the ways that you can do that is when you're promoting someone else or promoting a product. And so it's a very natural thing for me. And I absolutely love it. And like you said, we've done marketing, authors, and we've also had musical guests on your show. So, It's been wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, and so as you're making this transition, and I'm bringing this up because I know our audience knows I talk about a lot on this program, Marnita, about the importance of having the faith over fear and allowing your faith to overcome your fear. Any time that we're stepping outside of our comfort zone, or as people are looking at this new year, Marnita, as they're looking at goals they want to set. I mean, what has it been like for you to set goals like this for yourself and then to be able to see them materialize?
It's very humbling, because the vision is so huge, and you're wondering, can I do this? Well, by myself, certainly it's impossible. But with God, all things are possible, and He will bring the correct and proper support to help the vision, because technically the vision, Cyrus, is God's vision. He's just entrusted it in us. And so it's been very humbling for me, really, to be able to change the trajectory of other people's lives. Is an amazing thing, and you can get addicted to it. It's humbling, but you want more and more of it because you see the change that's happening, and it's an amazing thing.
Yeah. Well, I think the other side of what you just said, and you bring up a really interesting point, because I think a lot of times, Marnita, people realize that they've been given something. It's not always easy for them, though, to be able to walk in that. What has that been like for you to recognize that gift that you have and then to be able to walk in that gift?
Well, it's funny how we humanize so many things. I didn't really know that it was a gift at first. Technically, it was just a desire that I had. I was a single parent raising two beautiful children, and I wanted to know everything about it. My mom had passed away earlier when I was younger, before I had kids, and so I didn't have all that mommying available to me. My father was still there, but my mom was more the authoritarian in our home, and so I didn't have that available to me when my children came along, so I sought doctors and other gurus that knew about parenting, because I wanted to be able to provide for my children the type of parenting that I personally received. Now, I grew up in a two-parent household, so I felt that I owed it to them to do, exceptionally more than the norm, because I was a single parent. And I didn't want them to lack anything because I was a single parent. And so I began to seek out support. I'm sorry, my phone is just going off. But I began to seek out support from the professional community and from church. And that's where I got most of my help, from the Bible. And as I began to study out parenting, it was phenomenal, the information that's in the Bible about raising up the next generation. And so it's been a challenge in some places to walk it out, but it's also been very rewarding to do it. And like I said, I didn't even know it was a gift. I just knew that I was in need and I needed help, and I began to seek it out. And once I did, then I found other people around me who needed the information that I now possessed, and I began to give it to them and to help them and see them actually grow into a stronger parent. So that's pretty much how it's been, and it's an amazing journey, because people often say that, there are no books on parenting, or, parenting doesn't come with instructions, and that's totally false. There is clearly instructions in the Word of God on how to parent.
Got you. And we're going to talk more about that and how the people can expect that in your program. Marnita, I want to say, for those who are just tuning in, either on the radio side or online, you're listening to Conversations Live. We're excited to welcome back to our program today Marnita Coleman. She's someone who I'm glad to call a friend, but she's also a colleague of mine, and now she's coming to WYAD with her brand new show that's premiering on Wednesday, January the 10th, as I mentioned, at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on the community station, as well as online to WYADonline.com. So, Marnita, we've kind of teed up the show. What is the title of the show, and let our audience know a little bit about what they can expect?
Well, the show is called The Marnita Show, and it's kind of funny that we're calling it that, but it's not technically about me, but it's being projected through my personality, the way that I think, the way that I talk. The show can be a little urban in that you may hear me say some very slang terms just to make a point, and make sure that it's clear. But it's very palatable too. You're not going to sit there and feel condemned. Oftentimes when we're talking about parenting, Cyrus, people feel indicted because they think you're calling them a bad parent if you offer them advice. And so the show is very palatable. It may even be funny, but you'll see yourself in some of the examples that we give. But the whole focus is to bring us up and into the right position as parents and as authorities in our home and over our children, and to give people a more and a clear vision of who they are in the eyes of God as it relates to their children. Because we, again, I said it before, we tend to humanize things. And when we humanize them, we minimize them. We take the spirituality out of it. So our children are our children only in the earth, but they really don't belong to us. They belong to God, and we're really overseers and shepherds. And so when you are managing someone else's property, you have to do it according to their prescription, their rules, and their way of doing things. So God has a standard, and He wants us to operate in that standard. And I wanted to just say that, so many people think, oh, those are my kids. You're not going to tell me how to raise my kids. Well, yeah. Yeah, we are. Because they belong to God. And, the statistics are crazy in America. And I'll just shoot some statistics to you real quick. In America, annually, over 700,000 children are removed from their homes and placed in foster care annually. 700,000 children are removed from homes. Over 600,000 youth experience admission to a detention facility every year. 600,000. And on any given day, Cyrus, any given day, almost 300,000 kids are incarcerated. Those are staggering numbers, staggering. Right. And so what do we attribute that to? Well, parenting. Some of it is parenting. A large percentage of it is parenting. And so we have to talk about parenting. We don't want to talk about parenting. It's uncomfortable to talk about parenting. I may feel some kind of way when you call me out, but guess what? Healthy people exercise, and they do it because they understand to stay healthy, they must exercise. So in order for us to have stronger families and a stronger community, we have to know how to parent our children.
Yeah. And this is something, and I should say, I did not realize at the time when you and I actually began this conversation today, I knew the Marnita Show was part of your brand. Marnita, I did not know that was going to be the title of the show that you were bringing to WYAD. I think it's appropriate, though, that I mention that especially social media has been one of those ways you've been promoting this. How has the Internet helped you in this way?
Well, the Internet gets the word out. Even though, how we always want to see how many likes we got. But what the Lord showed me one day, I was like, well, God, I only got 5 likes. He said, yeah, but others are reading it. So the numbers are much larger than just those 5 people. So he just instructed me, keep putting it out there. And I keep putting it out there, and I've noticed that I'm getting more ads on Facebook, more hits on Facebook, definitely more friends on Twitter and Instagram. So people are following me because they are listening, because the show airs in other markets. So people are listening, even though I may not know who they are at the moment. So Facebook is an amazing tool. The Internet is an amazing tool.
That's right. Speaking of Facebook, there's a post that you made on the Marnita Show Facebook fan page. We're going to remind our audience how they can be a part of that a little bit later, Marnita. This post goes back to 2014. And the reason why I bring this up is because I think it has such a powerful message for us when it comes to thinking about children. You posted it actually on April the 30th, 2014, and it's a quote from Pablo Picasso that says, "Every child is an artist. The challenge is to remain an artist after you grow up." I bring that up because I think a lot of times, and I've said this even on this program, that when we're younger, nothing seems impossible. We believe we can be a fireman, we can be Superman, we can be a teacher, a lawyer, all at the same time. We don't believe we have to choose. We don't believe that there's a limitation. As we grow up, either because of what our parents tell us or the world tells us, we then begin limiting what we can believe. How important has that been like for you to share the importance of encouraging children to be the best of themselves and not put those limitations on themselves?
Well, technically, as a youth and children's minister, you want children to know that the sky really is the limit for them. And kids, if you tell them enough, they learn by repetition. So if you tell them enough, they'll begin to grab hold of it and begin to believe you, especially if they trust you. And it's the parents that we really focus on. See, when we talk about parenting is one of those topics, again, that folks don't like to talk about. But when they do embrace the topic, they want to rant normally about those bad butt kids of theirs. And I have to tell them, we're going to get to the bad butt kids, but let's talk about you. Because what they're not connecting is the bad butt kids' behavior with their parenting. So to keep a parent interested in being an artist. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to let the parents see that the change begins in you, in them, and then the change will flow out to their children. Winston Churchill said, "I like to learn. I just don't like being taught." And so as we get older, we've had so many experiences, negative experiences, that cause us to become very rigid, to become very fearful and launching out. And so we tend not to do it and err on the cautious side. But there's no reason to do that. We can continue to dream, and we can continue to be an artist, and we can continue to aspire to do greater things. And that's where we are. We're really trying to reach parents. Trying to reach parents.
Along with that thought, Marnita, another post that you made on your Facebook fan page, The Marnita Show, was on November the 3rd. It was a quote from Andy Smithson that said, "The sign of great parenting is not the child's behavior. The sign of truly great parenting is the parent's behavior." And again, like you said, that is a conversation that definitely needs to be had. About this platform, though, I mean, and again, I've been mentioning that, of course, you have the social media aspect you've been using. You have, the airwaves you've been able to use. I mean, is that also part of the encouragement that you've gotten with this, Marnita, that by the response you've been able to see from the Marnita Show?
Yes, definitely. People are very encouraging from time to time. They will, of course, give you their opinion. I don't always take it. I know a wise man will hear, but it doesn't say that he acts on everything he hears. Right. But it's encouraging to see that folks are out there. Like this month, in one of the on the show, we are actually fasting and praying for our children, and it's amazing because people want to participate, and that's always very encouraging to see.
Yeah, for sure. I think that is the big thing, and I think that encouragement too of knowing that you're being able to be an example. I mean, we talk about, of course, parents being an example for children. How does it feel for you, Marnita, through the things you've been able to accomplish, whether it's dealing with PR or then, of course, stepping behind the mic, so to speak, yourself? How does it feel to be an example to other people as to what's possible for them?
Well, again, that's very humbling because the truth, is that, sure, I'd like to beat on my chest and say, hey, look at my kids, boom, but I can't because it takes a village. I'm not just the only person that's been involved in whatever success that they've had or whatever success I've had. It's very humbling to be able to help people. You want to get down in the trenches sometimes and just stay there with them until they really get it. Because again, I'm going to always talk about being humanistic, but we're so humanistic and so culturally driven that we forget about God. And I'm talking about church folk. We forget that we are believers and that we actually have, the kingdom of God on our side. And so I love helping people to come to the realization that it's more than just you, and it's more than just new age, speak to the universe and the universe will respond and bring it back. Yeah, but God will not only bring it back, he'll make it personal. He'll give it to you, and it's free, and he'll help you, and he'll show you, and he'll instruct you on how to do things. And I love it when you're talking to someone who didn't have that realization that they could really be a great parent, that their kids don't have to be out of control, that they have a say in how this thing turns out. That is the best part. When you're able to elevate someone else to another level of understanding, there's no reward for that. Nothing seems to go far enough because it's amazing. I mean, really, you have to say, God, this is just you, because there's no way I can take credit for this, and thank you for using me. And you're just so humbled. I feel like I'm about to cry. You're just so humbled. You were able to change someone's destiny. Yeah. That's an amazing thing, really, it is.
Right. Right. And it's something that is not possible unless we are doing the work that we've been assigned to do. And I think that's the thing, to realize that it's bigger than us. And I think, knowing that it affects other people is also one of the reasons why we should all be able to embrace that gift and that commission that we've been given. Again, everyone, Marnita Coleman is our guest. We're talking with her not only about her own journey, but also the Marnita Show that's coming right here to the community station, WYAD 94.1 FM, and online around the world, thanks to WYADonline.com. That's starting next Wednesday, January the 10th, beginning at 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. Marnita, stay with us. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to remind our audience how they can stay connected with you, as well as recap how they can be able to find out what's going on with the show, okay?
Awesome. Yes.
You all stay with us. Here is Greater by recording artist Shurin. Never mind. I'm not going to say that. We'll be right back after this. We're back with our final moments with Marnita Coleman. Marnita is the host of the Marnita Show. She's going to be coming here to WYAD beginning next Wednesday on January the 10th, as I mentioned, at 6 p.m. Central, that's 7 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be a 30-minute program that's going to be talking about all of us, really, but parenting is the big central theme, but also, of course, our role in that as well. Marnita, before we let our audience know how they can stay connected with you, and also, of course, how they can be able to contact you online, I think, one of the things that we hear a lot about, too, and you've really been focusing on the parenting. Talk to us a little bit about the community, because I noticed one other thing that I saw on your Facebook fan page was that you actually take the Marnita Show out into the community as well at events. How important has that support of the community been also for children and what they're able to accomplish?
Amazing. The community is that dry ground that's waiting for somebody to sow into it. And so they have been extremely receptive. And people are interesting because when you come out and you tell them, hey, we're doing this show, we did, a show of the arts. And so people were like, well, how much does it cost? Well, it's free. Well, why are you doing this? Now they're cautious. Like, what do you want from us? We don't want anything. We just want to, give you guys this experience and, culture, really, to let you know that there's more people out there other than rappers, that we have dancers and people who play instruments, violins and that kind of thing. And so once they kind of understand where you're coming from and that they know that you have a sincerity about bringing something to them, they embrace it wholeheartedly. They get right behind you and tell all their friends and bring Big Mama and Dottie, Lottie, everybody, they all come out. And so it's a wonderful thing. Yeah, it's good. Right. It's good for them. So, yeah.
Well, we definitely want people to help spread the word about the Marnita Show, again, coming here to WYAD again beginning next week. That's January the 10th at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, right here at WYAD 94.1 FM and online at WYADonline.com. If you all don't have the WYAD app, go to the website, download the app completely for free, and then you can be able to take the show with you no matter where you might be. Marnita, how can our audience stay connected with you and kind of keep up with all the great things going on with you?
Well, they can certainly reach out to me on Facebook. I'm at Marnita Coleman, and I'm going to spell it because a lot of people don't know how to pronounce it, so they can't spell it either. So it's Marnita, spelled M-A-R-N-I-T like Tom, A, Coleman, Coleman. You can find me on Facebook there. On Twitter, it's The Real Marnita. And on Instagram, it's The Real Marnita. And, of course, you can always hit me up through my website at IamMarnita.com. And, I just wanted to say something before we go. This is the season. Sometimes we want to do things. We have the vision to do them. But we don't know what the season is. And this is the season for parenting. There's so much turmoil in our communities and around the world. And it's time for parents to get back in the driver's seat and stop thinking, again, like the world, and start behaving and responding the way we are supposed to as believers and those who are put in that position of authority. I was doing something one day, and this person approached me and quoted this quote to me, and it really, I don't know, I think it just put some fire in my tank. And it's a Horace Mann quote, and it said, he actually said, you should be ashamed to die until you have won some victory for humanity. And that was such a strong statement, and it really did help me to move faster with what I was doing. You should be ashamed to die until you have won some victory for humanity. That's powerful. Very powerful statement. And so we should feel, it's a lot to think about. I mean, every person has a purpose. You know, the purpose-driven life. We found out that we had a purpose-driven life by Rick Warren. And so we need to find that out and get out there and do what we have to do. But we also have to understand that we have been given a tremendous privilege of raising up the next generation. And so we can't act like the kids. We have to be the authority. And so many people are throwing their hands up in the air, surrendering and giving up, saying, oh, what can I do? My kid is of age now. And your point is what? You can still parent them. You know, there's no biblical example that threw up their hands and said, oh, well, I guess this is as far as I go because you're 18 or you're 21, you're a woman, you're a man. No, you can still parent, you know. Jacob gave his grown sons who had wives and families instructions. They still listened to Papa. So we just have to get our heads back in the game.
So a lot for us to be able to look forward to. Looking forward to the show, and thank you so much for the great conversation.
Oh, thank you, too. You're the best.
I appreciate
You're the best
you.
at what you do.
Thank you for that. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Make sure you all are tuning in again beginning on Wednesday, January the 10th. It's going to be another great addition to the family here at WYAD. Again, it's at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. You'll see it, of course, promoted on our Facebook fan page. And then, of course, make sure you all are staying connected with Marnita, as we mentioned, through her Facebook fan page as well. We'll be back with more Conversations Live for those joining us on the radio side of our program, so you all stay with us. For those joining us online, though, we are going to lose you. So if you came in late, missed part of the conversation, don't worry. Thanks to our online friends, you all can catch the replay right after we go off the air. The link is already available through our social media site. So head over to Facebook.com/Cyrus Webb or go to Twitter.com/Cyrus Webb. If you click on the link there, you can listen to the show completely for free and share with your friends from there too. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying, as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Make sure you take out time to enjoy some good music as well as a great book. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live today. You all make it a great one.